Pregnant black woman helps wounded man after her husband abandons her. Subscribe and tell us where you're watching us from today. Aria Larkwood parked her old blue car in front of Joe's diner. She tried not to worry about the clicking sound the engine made again. Aria was eight months pregnant and couldn't let her car break down now. She was working very hard to save every dollar she could. "Morning, honey," called Betty, the older waitress, as Aria walked in. "You look tired. Are you sure you should still be working?" Aria gave a little smile as she tied her apron over her big belly. "I have to, Betty. I need the money. Bills don't pay themselves." It had been 6 months since Zane, her husband of 3 years, took all their money and ran away with his secretary. Aria had cried herself to sleep for weeks. She worked extra shifts and worried about how she would take care of the baby all by herself. But Aria wasn't someone who gave up. Her mama raised her to be strong. The day at the diner was like usual. Aria served coffee, smiled at grumpy customers, and tried to stay on her feet even though her ankles were sore and swollen. By the time her shift ended at 10 p.m., dark clouds filled the sky and a big autumn storm was coming. "Be careful driving home," Betty called out as Aria walked to the door. "It's getting stormy out there." The rain came down hard as Aria drove on the quiet country road to her small house. Her windshield wipers moved fast, but the rain was so heavy she could barely see. She squinted to keep her eyes on the road. Then she saw someone. A person was walking along the side of the road, hard to see in the dark. Aria's first thought was to keep driving. Who picks up strangers at night in a storm? But something made her slow down. In her headlights, she saw a man in a fancy suit. His clothes were torn and dirty. He had blood on his shirt and was limping. "Oh, Lord," Aria whispered, pulling over. She rolled her window down just a little and called out, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" The man looked up, and Aria gasped. Even with the rain and blood, she could see he was very handsome. He had strong blue eyes and a kind face, maybe in his late 30s, with gray and black hair like in the movies. "Please," he said softly, "I just need a ride into town. I promise I won't hurt you." Aria put her hand on her belly. Her mama would say she was crazy for helping a stranger at night, but there was something about his eyes. She couldn't leave him there. "Get in," she said, reaching over to unlock the door. "But I'm warning you, I've got pepper spray and I know how to use it." The man gave a small smile as he got in the car. "I'm Kai," he said, "and I promise you won't need your pepper spray." "I'm Aria," she said, putting the car in drive. "You're bleeding a lot. Maybe we should go to the hospital." "No hospitals," Kai said quickly, shaking his head. "I just need a place to rest. I'll be okay." Aria looked at him, unsure. "I have a first aid kit at home. It's not much, but I can clean your cuts." As they drove through the storm, Aria wondered what kind of trouble Kai was in. His clothes were expensive, even if they were dirty now. He looked like someone rich and important. He sat straight like someone who was used to being in charge. "It's not much," Aria said as they got to her house. The paint was peeling and the porch light blinked, but it was home. "You can rest on the couch while I patch you up." Kai looked at her with his deep blue eyes. "Why are you helping me?" Aria shrugged as she helped him out of the car. "Because someone once helped my mama when she was pregnant and alone. Sometimes all we can give is a little kindness." Aria had no idea that helping a stranger on a rainy night was going to change her life forever. The next morning, Aria woke up with the sun shining through her window. For a moment, she forgot about the stranger. Then it all came back, the storm Kai, and how she helped him. She had cleaned his wounds, given him some of Zane's old clothes, and made up the couch with clean sheets. She told him to rest while she went to bed, her feet aching after work. "Kai?" she called, putting on her robe. "Are you okay out there?" No answer. Aria walked into her tiny living room and froze. The couch was empty. The sheets were folded neatly, but something was very different. Her old broken fridge was gone. In its place was a shiny, brand new one. The cabinets were full of groceries, fancy ones she couldn't afford. There were fresh fruits, nice coffee, and even steak. On the counter sat an envelope. With shaking hands, Arya opened it. Inside was more money than she had ever seen, and there was a note written in neat handwriting. "Thank you for your kindness. I always repay debts." Arya sat in a chair, her hand on her belly. "What in the world?" she whispered. Then she heard a horn honk outside. She ran to the window and gasped. Her old car was gone. In its place was a brand new SUV, the exact kind she dreamed about. It was perfect for a baby. "This can't be real," Arya said out loud. "Stuff like this doesn't happen in real life." She was still trying to understand what happened when her phone rang. It was Betty from the diner. "Arya, turn on your TV right now." "Now!" "Channel 5. Arya grabbed the remote and turned on the little TV. She gasped again. Kai's face was on the screen, but not the hurt man from last night. This was Kai Everhart, the billionaire tech genius who almost never appeared on TV. Tech billionaire Kai Everhart survived an attempted kidnapping last night, the news reporter said. Sources say Mr. Everhart escaped during the storm. No one knows where he went during those 8 hours. Arya sat down, shocked. The stranger she had helped wasn't just anyone. He was one of the richest men in the world. Her phone started ringing again and again. First Betty, then other people. Soon, reporters showed up at her door. "Miss Larkwood," they shouted. "Is it true you helped Kai Everhart? What's your relationship with him?" Arya closed her curtains, her heart racing. What had she gotten into? Then her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "I'm sorry about the chaos. Let me fix this." Before she could reply, there was a knock at the back door. She peeked through the curtain. Kai was standing there in a nice suit. He looked perfect, like nothing had ever happened. Only a small cut above his eye was left from the night before. "We need to talk," he said when she opened the door. "I owe you an explanation." Arya looked at him, then at the reporters outside. "You sure do," she said, "because right now my quiet life is a circus and I've got a baby to think about." Kai's face softened as he looked at her. "I know, and I'm going to make this right. You helped me when I needed it most, Arya. Now, let me help you." Arya didn't know it yet, but this was only the beginning. Her kind act hadn't just changed her life, it had changed Kai's life too, and neither of them was ready for what would happen next. 3 weeks passed since Kai Everhart turned Arya's world upside down. Reporters finally stopped coming, thanks to Kai's lawyers who warned them to stay away. Arya went back to work at the diner, but things were different. People whispered and stared. Some were kind and gave her big tips. Others weren't nice. They called her names like gold digger and said she just wanted Kai's money. "Don't listen to them," Betty said one morning as Arya wiped away tears in the break room. "They're just jealous. That man clearly cares about you." It was true. Kai surprised Arya. He wasn't a stuck-up rich guy. He came to see her almost every day after the diner closed. Sometimes he brought food. Other times, he just sat and talked. One night, Kai said, "No one treats me like a normal person anymore. Everyone wants something from me, but not you. You helped me, and you didn't even know who I was." Arya smiled and said, "I might not have picked you up if I knew you were a billionaire. I'd have thought you were crazy." Kai laughed, a warm laugh that made Arya's heart skip. But she pushed the feeling away. She couldn't fall in love again. She couldn't risk being hurt. "My board of directors is mad at me," Kai said seriously. "They think I'm crazy for spending time here. They say it's bad for the company's image." Arya's heart felt heavy. Maybe people were right. Maybe Kai didn't need to be around all her problems. "Stop thinking like that," Kai said kindly, but firmly. "For the first time in many years, I feel like myself again." He smiled and added, "And someone needs to make sure you're okay and that the baby is okay too." He looked at her belly and smiled. Just then, Arya's phone buzzed. She looked at the screen and her face turned white. "What's wrong?" Kai asked, now worried. "It's Zane," Arya whispered. My ex-husband, he saw the news stories and says he's coming back to town. Kai's face got serious. The same Zane who took all your money and left you when you were having a baby? Arya nodded, her hands shaking. He says now that I'm friends with a rich man, maybe we can work things out. She let out a sad, angry laugh. 6 months of nothing, not even a phone call to ask if the baby was okay. And now suddenly he wants to talk. Kai stood up and started walking back and forth on the porch. Let me handle this. One phone call and he won't bother you again. No, Arya said strongly. I need to do this myself. I can't always ask you to fix everything. Kai got down on one knee in front of her and gently held her hands. Arya, you're the strongest person I know. You've made it through so many hard things, but you don't have to do everything alone anymore. Arya looked into his blue eyes, the same eyes she kept thinking about since the rainy night they first met. Why do you care so much? She asked. Because, Kai said softly, that night in the rain, you didn't just save my life. You made me believe in good people again. And every day, you show me what true strength looks like. Before Arya could say anything, she felt a strong kick in her belly. Without thinking, she grabbed Kai's hand and placed it where the baby was moving. Kai's eyes grew wide in surprise as he felt the baby kick. They sat there quietly for a moment, both smiling, connected by this little miracle. But their happy moment wouldn't last. Zane wasn't just coming back to talk. He had a plan. And he wasn't the only one who wanted to take advantage of Arya's new friendship with Kai Everhart. The simple life Arya had worked so hard to build was about to get more difficult, and her growing feelings for Kai would soon be tested in ways she never imagined. Zane Larkwood walked into Joe's diner like he owned the place. Arya was pouring coffee for the breakfast cousineers when she heard Betty gasp. She turned around, and there he was. Zane, her ex-husband. He looked the same charming smile, same perfectly styled hair, same fancy clothes probably bought with her stolen money. Hello, beautiful, Zane said, sitting down at the counter. Did you miss me? Arya's hands were shaking as she put down the coffee pot. What are you doing here, Zane? Can a man check on his wife and baby? He asked, smiling. We're still married, you know. We never signed the divorce papers. Betty stepped between them. You need to leave. Arya doesn't want you here. Actually, Zane said, pulling out papers from a fancy briefcase, I have every right to be here. I'm the baby's father. My lawyer helped me write these. Arya's face turned pale. They were custody papers. You can't be serious, she said. You left us. I just needed time, Zane said, getting closer to her. But when I saw you on the news with Kai Everhart, I knew I made a mistake. We can be a family again. Is there a problem here? A calm voice asked. Everyone turned. Kai was standing at the diner's door. He wore jeans and a sweater, but still looked like $1 million. People started whispering and pulling out their phones. Zane smiled even bigger. Mr. Everhart, I'm Zane Larkwood, Arya's husband. I was just thanking you for helping her while I was away. Kai walked over, his face calm but cold. You mean while you were in Florida with your secretary and Arya's money? Zane's smile started to fade. I see Arya's been telling stories. No stories, Kai said quietly, just facts. My private investigators found out everything. The other woman in Atlanta, the gambling, the lies. Zane turned pale but quickly got angry. Looks like my wife traded up. Tell me, Arya, what did you do to catch a billionaire? The whole diner went quiet. Arya felt like she had been slapped. Then Sheila, the cook, came out of the kitchen with a pot of hot coffee. Oops, she said as she accidentally spilled coffee all over Zane's fancy suit. Zane jumped up, yelling, Are you crazy? This suit cost $2,000. Stolen money, stolen suit, Betty muttered loud enough for everyone to hear. Get out, Arya said, finally finding her voice. Get out and don't come back. Tell your lawyer to talk to mine. You don't have a lawyer? Zane sneered. No, Arya said, but I do have courage now, and if you try to take my baby, I'll tell everyone the truth. about the money you stole, the lies you told, and how I worked double shifts to buy baby clothes while you bought jewelry for your girlfriend. Kai stepped forward. You should leave now, Mr. Larkwood, or maybe the SEC will want to hear about your strange bank activity. Zane looked at both of them, red with anger. This isn't over, he said. That's my baby too. You can't keep me away. Watch me, Arya replied. After Zane left, the whole diner clapped. Arya didn't even realize she was crying until Kai handed her a handkerchief. I'm sorry, she whispered. You shouldn't have to deal with my mess. You're not a mess, Kai said kindly, lifting her chin. You're amazing. The way you stood up to him, that's the Arya Larkwood I've come to know. Strong, brave, beautiful. Their eyes met. For a moment, the whole diner disappeared. Then the baby kicked again, and they both laughed. Your baby agrees, Kai said with a smile. But Arya knew it wasn't over. Zane never gave up easily, and now he had even more reason to cause trouble. What Arya didn't know was that Zane had already started a new plan, a plan that would test everything, her love for Kai, her trust in others, and what it really means to be a family. The next morning, the newspapers told a very different story. Pregnant waitress in love triangle with billionaire. One headline shouted, Abandoned wife traps rich tech boss, said another. Someone had taken a video of what happened at the diner, but the video was edited to make Arya look like the bad guy. Don't read that junk, Kai said as he took Arya's phone. They were sitting in her living room. He brought breakfast, but Arya was too upset to eat. They're calling me a gold digger, Arya said, wiping her tears. They're saying I'm trying to trap you, that the baby might not even be Zane's. Even my mom called me this morning asking if the stories are true. Kai's jaw tightened. This is Zane's doing. He's telling the tabloids what to say. Then Arya's phone rang again. It was Betty from the diner. Sweetheart, don't come in today, Betty said. The parking lot is full of reporters. Mr. Johnson says maybe you should take a break until things calm down. Arya felt like someone punched her in the heart. They're firing me? Not firing, Betty said. Just a paid break. You'll still get your salary. When the call ended, Arya broke down. This is what Zane wants, she cried. To ruin everything. To make me so desperate that I'll go back to him. Kai walked around the room, upset. Let me help. I can tell the press the truth. Arya laughed sadly. That a rich guy is hanging around with a pregnant waitress? That'll just make it worse. The truth, Kai said, kneeling again in front of her, is that I'm falling in love with you. Arya's heart stopped. What? I know it's fast, he said, but you're the most real part of my life. When I'm with you, I'm not a billionaire or a famous guy. I'm just me. Before Arya could answer, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from a number she didn't know. It had a photo. Her hands shook as she opened it. The photo showed her and Kai in the living room, just now, taken through the window. Below it was a message. How much do you think the newspapers will pay for proof the billionaire is with a married woman? Back off, or everyone sees these. He's watching me, Arya whispered, showing Kai the phone. Kai's face turned dark with anger. That's it. I'm calling my security team. You're moving to my penthouse where it's safe. No, Arya stood up, her hands on her belly. That's what Zane wants. He wants people to think I'm your secret girlfriend. He wants me to depend on you so the judge won't give me custody of my baby. Kai looked at her gently. Then what do you want to do? Arya took a deep breath. I need to leave this town for a while, she said. I want to go somewhere quiet where I can have my baby in peace. Arya, please, Kai said. I care about you. Maybe more than I should. But right now, I just want you to be safe. I need to think about my baby, Arya said. I can't bring a child into all this mess and trouble. Kai was quiet for a moment. Then he took out his phone. I have a little house in the mountains, he said. Nobody knows about it, not even the people I work with. I go there when I need to get away from everything. You can stay there if you want. I can't, Arya started. Please, Kai said. Let me do this one thing. Not to control you, but because I care. I can't stand thinking of you going through this alone. Arya looked into Kai's kind blue eyes. She didn't see any pity or pressure. She saw love, pure and simple. But Arya didn't know that Zane had more than just pictures. He had a secret that could shake both Arya and Kai. It would test their love in a big way. And in the mountains where Arya hoped to find peace, she would have to make the biggest choice of her life. Kai's idea of a small place in the mountains turned out to be a beautiful log cabin by a clear, pretty lake. No photographers could find it, but it was still close enough to a town for doctor visits. Mrs. Parker lives just down the road, Kai said as he helped Arya move in. She's looked after this place for years. She can take you where you need to go. Mrs. Parker was a kind woman in her 60s. When she saw Arya's big baby belly, she smiled and said, "Don't worry, dear. I've helped bring lots of babies into the world. You're in good hands." For the first time in weeks, Arya felt like she could breathe. No reporters, no whispers, no Zane sneaking around. Just peace and quiet. Kai visited when he could. He flew in by helicopter on weekends. They walked by the lake, played board games, and talked about everything and nothing. Arya felt herself falling more in love with him, even though she tried not to. "My workers are going wild," Kai said one night as they watched the sunset. "They think I'm having a breakdown because I'm spending so much time away." "Maybe they're right," Arya said softly. "Your company needs you." "You know what I realized?" Kai said, turning to her. "In 20 years, I never took a real vacation. I never had anyone I wanted to take one with." Before Arya could say anything, her phone buzzed. She usually kept it off, checking only for messages from her mom or Betty. But this message made her heart stop. It was from Zane. "Found something interesting in your old medical records, sweetheart. Wonder what your rich boyfriend will think about it." "What's wrong?" Kai asked when he saw her pale face. "Nothing," Arya said quickly. She deleted the message. "Just my mom checking in." But that night, after Kai flew back to the city, Arya couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what Zane might have found. He knew the secret she had kept from Kai, the one thing she hadn't told him. The next morning, Mrs. Parker found Arya crying in the kitchen. Now, the older woman said, sitting beside her. "I've seen tears like those before. It's not just hormones. Want to talk?" Arya nodded. She told Mrs. Parker everything. Her marriage to Zane, the dark days she never shared, and the secret that could ruin her future with Kai. "5 years ago," Arya whispered, "before I met Zane, I was going to marry someone else. His name was David, Kai's younger brother." Mrs. Parker's eyes went wide. "Kai's brother?" Arya nodded. "He died in a car accident 2 weeks before our wedding. I was driving. The papers said it was an accident, but some people blamed me. Kai doesn't know I was the one involved. He was in Europe then." The family kept it quiet. "Oh, honey," Mrs. Parker said, taking her hand. "You have to tell him." "How can I?" Arya cried. "He'll hate me, and now Zane knows. He'll use it to ruin everything." "That man doesn't know what love is," Mrs. Parker said. "But Kai does. I've seen how he looks at you. Give him a chance." Before Arya could answer, she felt a sharp pain in her belly. Then another. "Mrs. Parker," she gasped, "I think the baby's coming, but you're not due for 3 more weeks." "Tell that to the baby," Arya said, her teeth gritted. Mrs. Parker rushed to call the local doctor. But a big storm was coming, making the roads too dangerous. "We'll never make it to the hospital," Mrs. Parker said. "We'll have to do this here." As Arya's pain got worse, she knew she had to tell Kai the truth before Zane did. With shaking hands, she picked up her phone to call him. But what she didn't know was that Zane had already told Kai everything. In the city, Kai sat at his desk, staring at old newspaper stories, police papers, and photos. It was all about how his younger brother, David, had died. The papers said David's fiancée had been driving. That fiancée was Arya. "I thought you should know," Zane said, pretending to care, "about the kind of woman you're in love with." Kai's hands shook as he picked up a photo. It showed a young Arya in a hospital bed, all bruised and hurt. She looked so small and broken, just like the first night he had met her in the rain. His phone rang. It was Arya, but he didn't answer. "Aren't you going to pick that up?" Zane asked with a smirk. "Maybe she's ready to confess." Back at the cabin, Arya screamed in pain. She held her phone. "He's not answering," she cried. "I have to tell him. I have to explain about David." "Focus on breathing," Mrs. Parker said. "One step at a time." The storm got worse. Trees bent in the wind. The lights flickered. Arya's labor was moving fast. In the city, Kai picked up his phone, not to call Arya, but to call someone else. Richard Sterling, his family's old lawyer. "Tell me everything about David's accident," Kai said. "The truth." There was silence. Then Richard said, "Your father kept you away in Europe. He wanted to protect you. But here's what really happened." As Richard talked, Kai's face changed from anger to shock to sadness. "Oh no," he whispered. "I have to get to her." But when he tried to call Arya, the storm had knocked out all the phone signals in the mountains. "Looks like your girlfriend doesn't want to talk," Zane said. Kai stood up, his face full of anger. "Get out!" "Excuse me." "I said get out!" Kai shouted. "You used my brother's death to hurt Arya. Did you really think I wouldn't find out the truth?" "You're lying," Zane yelled. "She killed your brother." "No," Kai said. "She almost died trying to save him. David had been drinking. Arya tried to stop him. She got in the car to make sure he didn't drive alone. That's why she was blamed. But Richard found something else too. Someone paid reporters to lie. That someone worked for my dad's company, and that someone is you, Zane." Zane stepped back. "You can't prove it." "Actually, I can. Richard is sending it all to the police. Your plan just failed." Just then Kai's assistant rushed in. "Sir, there's an emergency call from the mountains. It's about Arya. She's in labor. The doctor can't get there, and the helicopter can't fly because of the storm." Kai looked at the storm outside, then at Zane, then at the papers on his desk. "I'm going," he said. "You can't drive in this storm," Zane shouted. "It's too dangerous." Kai looked him in the eyes. "You're not scared for me. You're scared I'll get there in time. You're scared I'll tell Arya the truth." "I don't know what you're talking about," Zane stammered. "Really?" Kai said. "Then why did Richard find money you paid to that reporter from 5 years ago? You knew about her past before you even married her. You planned this." "You can't prove anything." "Yes, I can. Richard already sent it to the police." "Sir, the board meeting," his assistant said. "The papers need your signature." "The company can wait," Kai said. "Arya can't." Back at the cabin, Arya cried through the pain. The power was out. Only little lanterns gave light. "The baby's coming too fast," Mrs. Parker said, "and you have a fever." "Tell me about when you had your babies," Arya said, trying to stay awake. Mrs. Parker understood. Arya needed to stay calm. "My Jimmy was born on a stormy night like this," she said. "No doctor. My husband was away, just me and my neighbor Martha." On the mountain road, Kai drove through rain and wind. Fallen trees almost blocked him many times. His phone didn't work. "I'm coming," he whispered. "Hold on, Arya." Back at the cabin, Arya's fever got worse. She slipped in and out of sleep. Her memories and real life started to mix together. "David," Arya whispered, "I'm sorry. I tried to stop you." "Shh," said Mrs. Parker gently. She placed a cool cloth on Arya's forehead. "Save your strength, dear." "Tell Kai." Arya's eyes opened a little. "Tell him." I never stopped feeling bad. That's why I didn't tell him. I didn't want him to look at me with hate, like his dad did. "You can tell him yourself," said Mrs. Parker, trying to sound strong. "He'll be here soon." But inside, she was really worried. Arya's blood pressure was too high, and the baby's heartbeat didn't sound normal. Mrs. Parker could feel it with her experienced hands. Suddenly, a loud crash came from outside. At first, Mrs. Parker thought it was just more thunder. Then she heard pounding on the door. "Arya!" It was Kai's voice. "Arya, I'm here!" Mrs. Parker ran to open the door. Kai stood there, soaking wet. A tree branch had cut his forehead. "Thank goodness," Mrs. Parker said, pulling him inside. "She needs you." Kai rushed to Arya's side. He took her hot hand in his. Arya, baby, can you hear me? Arya opened her eyes a little. Kai, I'm sorry about David. No, Kai said. He kissed her hand. I'm the one who's sorry. I know the truth now. I know how brave you were. You tried to save him. Zane tricked you. He used that night against you. You don't hate me? Arya asked. I could never hate you, Kai said softly. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. We're going to get through this together. Arya gave a small smile. But then a strong pain hit her, she screamed. Mrs. Parker's face turned white. Something's wrong, she said. The baby's in trouble. We need a doctor. Now! Kai looked at Arya's pale face, then at the storm outside. He had just found her. He had told her he loved her. He didn't want to lose her now. But what he didn't know was help was already coming, and from someone no one expected. The wind howled. Arya had another strong pain. Kai held her hand tight. Mrs. Parker worked quickly using what she had. We need to get her to a hospital, Mrs. Parker said. The baby's heartbeat is getting weaker. Suddenly, vroom! They heard a car engine. Then, knock, knock, knock. Police! Open up. Kai ran to the door. There, standing in the rain, was Betty from the diner, with 2 police officers and a doctor. Betty, Kai said in surprise. How did you? No time for that, Betty said, rushing in. This baby is coming. The doctor was a young woman named Dr. Sarah Chen. She quickly took charge. I need hot water, clean towels, and everyone who isn't helping to leave the room, Dr. Chen said. The police helped set up emergency lights and some medical tools they had brought. Betty explained, Zane came to the diner drunk. He was yelling that his plan had failed. He said he married Arya because he knew she had a rich family. But he didn't know Sheila recorded everything he said on her phone. We gave it to the police. That's not all, said one police officer. We found out Mr. Larkwood had been stealing money from people. He's done this before. He's arrested now, said the other officer. He won't hurt Arya again. Suddenly, Arya screamed again. Dr. Chen looked very serious. The baby is in trouble, and Arya's blood pressure is too high. We need to act fast, Dr. Chen said. She looked at Kai. If Arya faints, I need someone to make medical decisions. Kai was about to speak when Arya squeezed his hand. Wait, she said between pains. Betty, my witness. Betty stepped forward. She took some papers from her purse. Already done, she said. Signed by a judge an hour ago. Your divorce from Zane is final. You're free. Arya gave a weak smile. Then, her whole body went stiff. The machines Dr. Chen brought started beeping loudly. She's crashing, Dr. Chen shouted. Everyone out. Only Mrs. Parker and Mr. Everhart stay. Everything happened very fast. Dr. Chen gave quick instructions. Mrs. Parker helped. Kai held Arya's hand and whispered, Stay with me, baby. Please. We've come so far. Arya's eyes opened a little. Kai, if something happens, promise me. Nothing will happen, Kai said. You're strong. You survived David's accident. You survived Zane. You'll survive this too. But if I don't, Arya whispered, promise you'll tell our baby everything about that night in the rain, about love. You can tell her yourself, Kai said with tears in his eyes, because I'm going to marry you, Arya Larkwood, if you'll have me. Before she could answer, a huge contraction hit her. This is it, Dr. Chen shouted. Arya, push! What happened next became a local legend. In the middle of the biggest storm in years, while thunder shook the mountains and lightning lit up the sky, a new baby was born. Love and courage won that night. All the lies and tricks couldn't stop it. And this moment didn't just change Arya and Kai's lives. It gave hope to everyone who believed in second chances. The garden at Kai's mountain cabin looked magical. White flowers were everywhere. Tiny lights twinkled. The same cabin that saw so much sadness was now filled with joy. Mama! Mama! Little Hope Everhart giggled in Betty's arms. She reached for Arya. Arya walked onto the deck in a beautiful white wedding dress. Hope was now 11 months old. She looked just like her mom, strong and full of life. There's my angel, Arya said, taking Hope and kissing her cheeks. Hope wore a tiny white dress like her mom's and had a little flower crown in her curly hair. Now don't cry and mess up your makeup, Betty warned, wiping her own teary eyes. Where's my fairy godmother? Arya smiled. Right here, dear, said Mrs. Parker, walking over with a bouquet of wildflowers. Everything is perfect. It's not every day we have a mountain wedding for a billionaire and a former waitress. Arya laughed. Former waitress is right. The children's hospital keeps me busy. It was true. After Hope's wild birth, Arya had used her experience to help other moms. With Kai's help, she started a group that gave medical care and support to moms and kids. Dr. Chen ran the medical part now. The reporters are staying in town, Betty said. They want pictures of this mystery wedding. But Arya and Kai had chosen to keep the wedding small. Only close friends and family, the ones who stood by them. Is he here? Arya asked softly. Mrs. Parker nodded. Front row. He wouldn't miss it. Tears filled Arya's eyes. Kai's dad, who had once blamed her for David's death, had changed after learning the truth. He had apologized. Now he loved Hope like his own grandchild. Time to go, honey, Betty said, taking Hope again. Your groom is waiting. Music began to play. Arya took a deep breath. Through the glass doors, she saw Kai at the altar. He looked so handsome. Their eyes met. Everything else disappeared. She walked down the aisle to the sound of birds and a soft breeze. Kai took her hands. Dearly beloved, the minister began, we are here today not just for a wedding, but to celebrate a miracle that began with a kind act on a stormy night. As they said their vows, Arya thought about all that had happened. The hard times had brought her to the best place. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the minister said. You may kiss the bride. Kai smiled. I love you, Mrs. Everhart, he whispered and kissed her. Everyone cheered. Later, they danced under the stars. Hope slept peacefully in Mrs. Parker's arms. Any regrets? Kai asked. Arya smiled. Just one. I wish I'd talked to that kind stranger in the rain a little sooner. Kai laughed. Well, we have forever to catch up. As they danced, the mountains filled with music and laughter. Arya knew this was not the end. It was just the beginning. A beginning made of kindness, hope, and love. And somewhere, Arya believed, David was smiling down at them, happy that his brother had found true love. They say great love stories have hard times, but the best ones remind us that after every storm there's sunshine, that love can come in the strangest ways, and that love can heal even the deepest wounds. For Arya and Kai, their love story started with a rainy night, and now, with family and friends all around, they knew. The best part of their story was just beginning. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Check out our other videos too. See you in the next one.